right, guys. First of all, I would like to apologize. It's not my fault. I know it's not my fault. So people are like, oh, it's not your fault. The debacle with the... Hang on a second. Let me get this. So I can make sure... I want to make sure I'm in focus and everything. So there was a debacle with the premiere of the video for the tip repair on Matthew's knife. It went up. We sat and we waited. After about 6 minutes, at 1:06 p.m., it came up and said that the premiere was over and the video never played. I mean, the video is still there. It's not like the video's lost. I would be upset. That'd be a 38-minute video that I put... Holy crap. I put a lot of time and effort into that would be gone. And I mean, I have to... storage constraints on my phone. I have to delete those videos once they're posted. So... But all that being aside, what we're going to do is I am going to sharpen this. And while I'm doing it, I thought I would kind of talk to you guys about the uniqueness of sharpening a hawkbill knife. Now, I've done a few of them, and they are never easy. They are never smooth. They are never just the, hey, it's just going to happen. They are always a pain. But since I own one now, I figured I would sharpen mine for you guys. I basically have everything done and sharpened. I'm all caught up. I have one thing that's left. So Peter, if you're watching this, it's your knife, and I'll try and get it done so that maybe I can get shipping done tomorrow. No promises. I got to take a look at it and see what else I've got going on. There's some other stuff that came in that was before yours that was before that was set up for Express, but I have to talk to the guy because the guidance was not clear. But when you're dealing with, back to the actual video, I'm an idiot. When you're dealing with a knife that's shaped like this, there's a reason why you have to be, you know, there's a specific way to do it. Now you can get away with using a rod, and I think I have my, well, I have the equivalent to it. Now, some people you use like I cut this off. This was a Waterstone rod that used to sit in a post, and you can get away with making the contact on something round like this, but then when it's this small, it's hard to maintain, especially when it's round. So the best bet for something that's got a pretty steep radius like this is a 1/2 inch stone. So you can see I'm making contact across the entire edge with this smaller stone. Can't do it with something this size because, as you can see, same angle, the only points I'm touching is here and here. Now, you can do it, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna rub the corners off these stones, and then the stone's gonna be radiused. But the other thing is, 2 fine points of contact, like those corners, don't leave you a nice smooth edge. So, I'm gonna show you how I do a karambit. And I use the 1/2 inch stones. All my stuff is in soaking. I will get it all set up and I will bring you guys back with me here in a minute. I'm not gonna do it like yesterday's video, it's like 40 minutes long. I'm gonna try and just consolidate it. Plus this edge is not that bad. It just has a couple of spots up near the tip where I've dinked it into stuff because this does get used. So hang on just a second and I'll be right back. So guys, I'm gonna have to say that I think, take my ring off. I think this is one of those times where it's the rare occasion that I think best bet for your average person is a fixtured system. Because the way I do it is not exactly... I like looking at the camera because I know Matt watches these videos and I know he's like, bro, please just watch the knife. So the way I do it is not optimal for a lot of people. There's some hazards to it. The biggest thing is, the way I do it, lay the knife across my hand, and I don't, actually, to tell you the truth, I do not recommend the method I use to anyone. I think it's dangerous, but it's the way I've done it for so long that it's pretty much the only way I can do it. These stones have a tendency to rock. And when they rock, you wind up with marks like this, or the scar that's right here in between my index and middle finger. Or when I was using some different stones, all the scars on these knuckles here that are permanent because what was happening is I would hold, when I held the larger stones, I'd hold it like this and the knife slips off and you stick it right in your finger there. Nice thing is right there, not a lot of meat in that area right there, so it hits the bone and then you don't get too bad of a cut. So I honestly can say, I do know you guys watch me do these videos and stuff, but I honestly don't think I could, in good conscience, recommend my sharpening method to the average person. A lot of the reason that I do it the way I do is because growing up on a farm, that's kind of, you had what you had, and a lot of times you had small little, just to give you a point of reference, I still use this. I'll still put this in my hand and still use it. It was only about that long to begin with. So, you know, it come from growing up and using small little slipstones like that. But it's sharpening a karambit. You've got to try and maintain the constant angle in a straight line to get the belly of the bevel, or the belly of the edge. And if you have to do very much reprofiling, it's a hairy situation, because what happens is that curve naturally puts that in. So these, I'm much more likely to cut myself on a karambit or a recurve than anything else I sharpen. So I may, yep, I already poked myself. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever done a recurve that I have not cut myself. And the curvature of the entire thing gives it some unique, it gives it some uniqueness to the way you interface with the stone. Yep, I already cut myself. I just got myself right there with the tip of it as it comes across. So this is why I'm gonna let you guys know I am working on designing a mount for these that you use in a handheld position. I've got to just sit down and actually design it out and then mold it out of clay, and then I'm gonna try and get it off to somebody that can manufacture it. And it's gonna be designed to work with the Edge Pro stones, because it's easy to lock them in. The Edge Pros have those dovetails. They're really good stones, and they wind up being something that you can use really easily by themselves without the system. So this actually is not going to take that long. This was ground really well. I'm not having to do much bevels, and I didn't do that much damage that I really need to worry about a lot of repair. It's just some chips. I use this knife, and I have to apologize. Yesterday I said in a video that I'd be willing to sell this knife to somebody that would pay the price of the knife plus the reprofiling. And then I realized this morning when I had somebody actually reach out to me that that's kind of silly, because basically what I was saying was I would want to replace this with one exactly like it. It wouldn't be any cheaper to buy this one from me. What it would be basically the same price as you buying one and sending it to me. So that's a better option. I apologize for the confusion that occurred with that. So yeah, guys, Wiese S35VN is really easy to work with, even though it is very, if you guys notice, I'm sorry. So if you guys notice, as I'm sharpening, I'm lifting this because it has a different interface on the stone, and I'm really, really skeptical that I'm not gonna do this without cutting myself anymore. So we've established the edge again, remove the old factory grind. It's sharp again. It was getting dull. So just like all our knives, I do the grit protection, but the problem with these are I can only go to about 2,000 grit. I have a 2,000 grit round stone. I'm only gonna take this one to 1,000. This is my knife. It's only gonna go to 1,000. So the problem with sharpening these, if you don't do it right, you're gonna wear out stones, you're gonna damage the blade and things like that. And so that's why I say if you have a karambit, putting this in an Edge Pro and getting it locked in would probably not be a bad idea. I've never tried to do a karambit on an Edge Pro. I have an Edge Pro. I don't use it anymore. I use the stones, but I think that would probably be the safest choice for the average beginner sharpener if you're trying to do a hawkbill. And the other things you want to look at is, do I have a knife that, you reach a point where even the radius on some knives is too tight for this. It's too steep of a radius, and you still get that point. So look at your knife and see if trying to do it on a 1/2 inch stone will work. If you don't, if it doesn't, I would say your best bet would be to use a ceramic rod, like the crisscross ceramic rods, like almost like Spyderco Sharpmaker. But I will warn you that one of the hazards of that is, just like a fixtured system, if you pull it through, you're gonna round that tip off. And on something like this, that's what you want. It acts like a claw. You wanna maintain that tip. And if you're not doing it on the right equipment, you will take away some of the parts of this. This is a self-defense style tool. And damaging that tip would take away from part of it. You know what I mean? So just, like I said, just take your time, take it easy, don't try to rush. At this point, I've done a lot of these, and so I can honestly say that it's not as difficult as it's made out to be, but like I said, unless you are putting procedures and precautions in place, I would not recommend doing this the way I do. It's, you know, kids, don't try this at home. Now, I do know that there's a lot of things out there that are designed for sharpening hawkbill knives. And I still don't think that you ever get as good of a finish or edge with them, but it might be a good idea. Now, if you want them done by hand, I'm your guy. Don't have a problem with that. And like I said, this is just gonna be a quick sharpening. This wasn't that bad, it was just dull. But I had dinked the tip. Thing with hawkbills is a lot of times the tip gets poked into something just because of the way it's shaped. And so you just gotta be a little cautious. So this is for you, Matthew. Touching up that tip right there. And there's the, let me see, there's the tip right there on the stone. I'm watching my own eyes. Occasionally I'm looking down, just make sure the stone didn't roll. Other way. I just do it because I know it makes Matthew go, Jesus, I can't watch when you do that. So, one more stone to go and we will be done. So I don't know, I might just do this video just regular. I might not do a premiere. I was so unhappy. So unhappy. We waited for like 8 minutes for that video to premiere. And then it said that premiere had ended 39 or 16 seconds ago. I was like, what? How is that even possible? And then talking about demonetizing, they demonetized both of my live feeds this morning. And I'm like, bye babe, have a safe drive, be careful. So I talked to Yakov a bunch today. He was supposed to be here from Croatia on Sunday. Something came up, he had to be there for work. So we're not gonna get to see Yakov until a week later. So basically he was supposed to be here Saturday. This Saturday, he's gonna come next Sunday. So definitely we'll get some video of hanging out with Yakov, things like that. So this is just kind of a fun video. I like putting up content. I know you guys are interested in certain things. And if you ever have a question about like stuff like this, I'm gonna tell you right now, people tell me like it's counterintuitive, it's bad business because I tell you guys everything about it. And I like to tell people, I was like, I don't worry about it affecting my business because at this point, it would take someone years to get to doing an edge. I mean, if you're sharpening, that's not a big deal, but doing convex edge knives, doing recurved blades, doing hawkbills, it's not as easy. It's not as easy as everyone just makes it, oh, he's just sharpening. I mean, even on a fixture system, this would not be easy, but as you can see, I've got one of my fairly polished 1,000 grit edges. It's not super, super refined, but I got news for you. That's kind of what I want on this knife. And that's good because that's the only stones I really have to do it on. What do you say, guys? It will cut. I watched a bunch of the Forged in Fire fucking clips on YouTube. I gotta tell you, I don't like that guy. I don't know what it is. Daniel Markita. Is that what his name is? Anyway, whatever his name is. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like the way he presents things on the show. He's probably a great guy. He's a martial arts instructor. Usually I will tell you that some of the best guys you'll ever want to meet are usually martial arts enthusiasts, martial arts instructors, because they have a really level-headed mentality and thought process, because they know how bad they can fuck someone up. And so they wind up being some of the nicest folks you'd ever want to meet. That TV persona that I see, it's just, I don't necessarily dig it. But like I said, it will cut. And I got news for you. This one, it will kill. This is not like your everyday EDC. This was designed as a weapon. So, guys, that's it. That's how you sharpen a karambit. There's really no, there's no way for me to show you, oh, you have to do this and this. I will tell you, one of the things that I might not have mentioned is you don't want, on this is not one you want to curve. I would recommend just doing a straight back and forth motion, as opposed to worrying about where the striations go, because naturally doing that with that blade in your hand, what you're going to get is they're going to form on their own. And so on something like this that's for a specific type of cutting, the serrations on the micro serrations on this, the direction that they happen to be going, is not near as important as just having a good clean apex. So it's they're interesting knives. And now that I've gotten one in hand that is a actually high quality, nice design, comfortable, I have to say, I've kind of flip-flopped my thoughts on this. So, all right, guys, that's it. Like I said, as always, there's going to be, down in this corner is going to be a link to the Patreon. Up here will be a subscription link. Over here is always going to be, well, not always, but there are always going to be these three things. Where is there a video that YouTube thinks you would like? And if you want to support my daughter's ice skating, please feel free. Down below, there will be a link to her GoFundMe. And if you're having problems with it, guys, I apologize. There is a problem with the routing. And so right now, I know that people have tried to donate, but it's gotten kicked back. So I will have that resolved today. You guys take it easy. Not sure, this might just post up and then, do a premiere later. So, all right, guys, take it easy. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.